Dr. Owusu Ocho. It's Dr. O for the 804. As the premier knee and hip shoulder sports surgeon in Virginia, I would like to remind you that health equals power. Sports build and uplift communities, nothing else can. The mission of sports medicine is to keep athletes of all ages and levels at the top of their game. Dr. O is located at Ortho, Virginia, Schrader Road office location. Appointments can be scheduled online at orthovirginia.com or by calling 804-939-6688. You can follow Dr. O on Instagram at Dr. O_ for the 804 and uplifting educational content about sports health.
I'm Coach Rick Stockel. I am co-owner of Newman & Dunn Real Estate here in Central Virginia, as well as I am a high school boys basketball coach at Monacan High School. I've sold over 1,300 homes here in Central Virginia, and I would love to work with you and your family in your home buying needs. I am a proud primary sponsor of Ballin' in Virginia, and I hope you enjoy this show.
Yeah, man, I appreciate Rick Stockel for sponsoring the show today. He's a great guy, great coach, great realtor here in Virginia. Make sure you give him a call or check out his website over at rickstockel.com if you're looking for any homes in Virginia. Thanks again, and let's get into this episode.
You don't like me, you're a hater.
Welcome to another episode of BallinVA on this Sunday night, December the 4th.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dude and dudettes, I got the back-to-back state football champions in the house today, Trinity Episcopal Titans coaching staff.
Yes.
What is up, y'all?
Man,
Going
what's
on?
happening, brother? Yes,
Yeah, man, this is a little dear to my heart because y'all know I put 4 years in putting some tuition in that building. You know what I'm saying? Son of class of 2017, so I'm repping today.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so I got my guys in here, man. I'm going to get everybody do a round table. But first, what I want to let y'all know is when y'all come into the, this place here, what we do here at BallinVA. Sorry about that. I got gifts for y'all.
No question.
And on the table, you know what I'm saying, we got some gifts here, man. It's a little stuff from Charles City.
Charles City.
You know what I'm saying? Some good stuff in there, man. So y'all can make use of that thing, man. And, that's what we do. When y'all win, big people get stuff. The people don't win, you come on as a guest, but you don't get no gift.
We appreciate you.
Hey, man, it's a nice spot, man.
Hell yeah.
It's real
Yes,
nice.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes,
indeed.
Appreciate it,
Top
man.
notch.
Thank y'all, man. I've been, trying to get coaching here, and Coach, man, I love you to death, man.
Yep.
You know how you always, took care of my son when he was over there, man. Always complimented him.
Best cornerback that never was.
That was
That's Plastic Man, Stacey Augman right there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. Showing the love, man. Malik always loved you, man. And when he met you, Wali, he came on and was like, yo, Dad, you know a dude named Wali? He went to Virginia. I said, who? He played football. Then he showed me a picture. I said, yeah, I know. I don't know him personally. He said, yeah, man, they're going to build it back over there. I said, you know what, man? I said, look, I'm glad for Coach, man, because you was up here when we was there. You won 2 back-to-back in Division II. And then went through some years, that rebuilding, reload, and now you back at the top again. And I love it. And I want to say congratulations, man, because seeing you go through this, the struggle, the highs, the lows, and to see you back up again, man, especially as a brother, hey, man, I love that shit.
That's love, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it, bro. You were there from day one. So you saw the whole maturation of the program.
Yep.
And kind of when you came in, the basketball program was in that same position, was on the rise.
Yep.
And I just had to take my lumps there for a minute. Personally, had to take them. Being the only black coach, and then on the field we had to take it. So, but now we don't got to take nothing.
No, we got to take nothing no more.
No, we giving it now.
Yeah, that's right. And I love it, man. I love it because it's always been considered a basketball school, So it's good to see the football team getting some love. But what I'm going to do, man, y'all go around each one of y'all. I'm going to start with you.
Yes, sir.
And y'all just give your name and tell where y'all started from and everything. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Where we started from.
Yeah, we go, just
I got you. No,
Let's go, champ.
I got you.
Why y'all put him right
How y'all got this one? We got to go through a whole dissertation.
No, I got you. I'm about to give you some rapid fire. I got
Hey,
you.
man, we need that. People need to know who you are.
All right, y'all, I'm going to speak a little fast. Just make sure you're listening and keeping up. My name is Timone Antonio Brown. I am the co-defensive coordinator and DB coach over at Trinity. I also own a company by the name of One Up Prep. So how I actually got to Trinity is by coaching and training some of the guys before I actually got on the coaching staff. So I started my company when COVID hit. And so when everybody was in the house hiding in COVID, no disrespect, we was outside in COVID getting that work in when nobody had any football season. So I was providing the opportunity for those to still get work. And so they came to me. Phenomenal thing that happened. I already knew Malcom because we both went to Henrico High School, but I met Wali over here, and I met his son doing the blue and gray camp. I met him. I met Wali actually when I was playing. I met him through Billy McMullen from UVA. Okay. But I met his son during the camp, and like from there, Wali just was like, "Yo, I'm gonna bring my sons to you." And so it was like a big opportunity in itself. So it went from having his sons, the Rayner brothers, to Zaire, Elijah, even Khalid coming out there, to meeting Deuce, right? That's Turk's son. He's over here as well. He's going to introduce himself. Okay. So I end up getting all these young men that were already brought up in a phenomenal mind state, environment, manhood, because these two men were raising them. And then they gave me the opportunity to continue to be a part of their journey. So it just was super dope, man, to have that company start and then have those individuals jump on. And next thing you know, I'm at Trinity because I was training at least 6 athletes from Trinity before I even got there. Wow. And then I happened to be able to fill a void. You know what I mean? So come in, I'm doing something, I'm living a purpose. I live by character, I live by standards, I live by integrity, I live by honesty, I live with a mission, and then it just aligned with these men. And so I came in, fill a void, and we won a state championship last year, and we just won the second one just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go behind that.
You gonna have to, hey, look, that's hard to come behind.
Hey, look, I gotta follow this.
Yeah, you gotta follow up. Let me go ahead and just, let me sit back.
All right, yeah, Malcom Bell, played quarterback at North Carolina Central. I'm a Henrico High School grad. Some people know me as the quarterback guy around here. Quarterback consultant, undefeated quarterback training. Mm-hmm. 6 years ago, a family friend of mine kind of introduced me to Sam, told me to go volunteer at Trinity. So I did it, ended up being a quarterback coach, and this was during a time of like rebuilding and trying to figure out, what we were offensively at that time, and got the nod to be the offensive coordinator about a year and a half after that.
Yeah.
And now we're two-time state champions. So it's been a good ride. It's been good to see this program kind of just rise up. And again, it's just been a good journey.
I love it, man. I love it.
QB whisper right there.
Yeah, here we go.
Hey, man, this hey, yeah, man, you already, hey, we here, man. Yeah, man. Hey, one way to do it. Hey, Wali Rayner, Charlotte, North Carolina. West Charlotte finest, no question. 8 years NFL. 8 years NFL, but before that, I went to University of Virginia. Graduated architecture. I want all the young bucks, I already know that. Graduated architecture. Believe in the duality of man. Mm-hmm. I retired. Funny part, when I retired, 07, 08, I think it was. And I'm going to just tell a quick story, man, because when I retired, a lot of cats get lost in the sauce. Okay. And I was always the strongest guy, man. Nobody really helped the strongest guy. Mm-hmm. And my cousin, Turk is my cousin, man. He kept coming around. Man, he kind of knew something was off, right? And had a lot of trauma that I haven't dealt with. Mm-hmm. And he helped me, I always say that. He like, man, quit saying it, but he helped me be part of the man I am right now, to get back who I am. I went down, actually I got a call. And they like, listen, man, I need you to holler at some youngins for me. Okay. And I always really get at and talk to the ones, the downtrodden, the roughest ones. Yeah. And people say, look, man, I want you to go holler at some youngins. It was down in Petersburg, Virginia. Okay. So I met Mike Scott, went down there. Mm-hmm. The guys, Doug and all the other guys down there. And I spoke to those guys, I started coaching down there, took them to the playoffs. Took them to the playoffs, and I think they haven't gone to playoffs in like 15, 20 years. Took them to the playoffs. And just kept out in the 804, learning my roots in the 804. My man AB out here just working with the youngins. Mm-hmm. I'm real big on raising young men, say young kings, man, raise them into their true self. Mm-hmm. Both mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of young men out here that they get lost. They just a physical attribute. And I always prayed, man, growing up in West Charlotte, like, listen, I want sons. I want sons. I want sons to raise them to be better than me. Right. And along came my sons, which I have 3 sons, and then the other young men. I say 4. One of them named Matthew Houston. I bring him in because I pretty much adopted him. Okay. But in 804, just putting my roots in these young men, trying to raise them to a high level, being more than an athlete. Met Timone, knew about Malcom, but I didn't know much about Trinity. Right. My oldest son, Elijah, I was doing, I think it was 13U, 12U, and I'm trying to figure out where these guys going to want to go to school at. And I knew I wanted that duality part and strong people around them. I'm always very particular and careful about the young people or the people that's around, especially my seeds, but everybody that, I have hands on. And it was a guy named Louis Jones. Louis Jones. And he was like, listen, man, you need to check out this spot, man. We went around a couple places. I came in. I didn't know Sam at the time. But I did when y'all won that state championship. I did see him on TV. 14. It was in 14. I saw him on TV, and I said, man, it was cold. He had someone like this right here.
Game. Yeah.
And I said, man, look, that was Trinity Episcopal. I said, where that school at? I said, it's a brother.
Yeah.
I said, no, I did.
That was
I
like
told
2
him
years ahead of that was 3 years.
Yeah. I said, it's a brother. So I just let it be. And I was like, man, I want to check that school out. That's before I even knew Lou brought me to him. So my sons kept playing, and we end up, he said, come check out this school. We came there. I met Sam. Man, it was genuine. For me, man, I'm a real genuine person. You can't fake it with me. I feel it. You feel me? And when I met him, man, it was solid. And my whole thought when I told him this, I was like, man, how this brother over here by himself? Ain't nobody in 804 come over here to contribute and help this brother. That was my first take. And I told him that. Mm-hmm. And but I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I said, Coach, man, if you need me, I'm here. I told him, I said, Coach, I lead, I follow as well as I lead. You feel me? And I said, man, I just whatever you need, man. I got expertise and stuff. I can help out, whatever. But anyway, I'm here. I met the brother, man. He's been genuine. We've been growing as all these men helped me grow. Okay. Right? And people don't really talk about that, right? Because people are like, oh, you played in the NFL, you did this, but man, all of them have different attributes that help me, right? Because I'm real particular about who around me in general, the energy and the spirit around me. So, I want to thank these guys, but that's how I met Sam, and that's how I met the rest of them. And he told you about how I met him. Yep. I was real careful, because I'm real careful about my seeds. I coach one way. Mm-hmm. And so I met Timone, and I'm watching. I studied him for probably about a month, man. I studied him. I saw him work with my son. I studied him. I told Cuz, like, I'm studying this guy, man. I like what he's doing. I'm going to study him. I'm going to study his character. I told him that. Did I not tell you that?
Yes, you did.
So I studied him, because I ain't let nobody work with my sons.
Right.
And I said, look here, brother, man, I want you to work with my sons. Right, I want you to work with them. And then, other young men start coming, man. So that's a big up to all these men right here.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I love that. See? Go ahead, Turk. You up? No. Well,
I'm gonna say the coach for last.
No, you're good.
No, you got to say the coach for last.
You gotta say
Yeah, he gonna wrap it up. Yeah,
I'm gonna wrap it all up.
Yep.
All right, so I'm Terrence Turk Edwards, man. I'm from Norfolk. Been living in Richmond since I came to the greatest school in America, Virginia Union University.
Yes.
Go Panthers.
Hey, listen.
Go Panthers.
Malcolm want to holler about Central, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Hey, hey, look, mop the floor with Central every time.
Come on, man. Another time. But
no, I ain't getting into that.
Nah, man. So I've been around the game for a while, man. I played ball at Union. My son Deuce, man, he goes to Trinity. And the funny thing is, I get a lot of flack. And I know y'all gonna say it. I get a lot of flack about this whole private school, public school thing.
We gonna get into that.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
My son told me I want to play with my cousins.
No question.
I said, well, you going over there then? And that's how it all started. And when I got over there, man, got a chance. Of course, that's my cousin, so we was already locked in anyway. But when I met Coach, man, I said, good dude. You know what I'm saying? And then when he was talking to Deuce used to come always home, be like, Daddy, Coach Sam did this, Coach Sam did that, man. I like him. I said, well, I like him too then. And then I got to meet him a little bit more and more and more. And he gave me the opportunity to help grow this middle school program. Trinity Titans, and that's what I'm here for today.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that more. And it's the biggest program in the 804.
Yep. Thank you, man.
Yep.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
But yeah, man, I got to give props and shout outs again to East End Tigers, man. That's why I've been started at coaching Little League football. That's from all my Little League roots that I raised them kids up, man, from 5 all the way up. Most of them boys playing high school ball now from, again, Trinity, they at Highland Springs, they at Verona, they at Manchester, they everywhere.
All the champs.
Just proud of the guys, man. Proud of their parents for believing in me, and thankful for Coach and these guys also, man. So that's me.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Big ups.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Big
right.
ups.
Hey, so, I'm Sam Mickens. I'm not going back. I'm a Jersey guy, but we're not going all the way back there.
Jersey.
I'm going to wrap this around here, right here. So this really started with this guy by the name of Andy Jowdy. He's like a partner downtown. And that's where Lewis Jones worked. And when he came to me, his son played for me. Okay. And he said, you taking over. It was 2012. He said, man, you got to get with this guy. He's got some kids, man. He's just a good guy, loves kids, and his son plays ball. And I said, okay. How many of those calls do you get? And then Lou came in, and actually he was from the same town as Joe Monaco, our CFO, who was coaching football at the time. The universe doesn't make any mistakes.
No question.
So he walks in the door, I meet him, we vibe right away. I mean, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I do know people very well. Got a PhD in people. So immediately met him, vibe, done. That's the first key piece. And then he came to a camp, one of my camps one year. He brought his kids over. That was all cool. And then I went out to a game, and they were like 9, 10. And I said, good God, man, these kids could start at Trinity today, right now. Bring these kids over here right now.
Wow.
Well, anyway, go forward a couple years, right? It was 2017, so the team was still, it was a year after, everything was popping with basketball. We did a Titan night. And he talks about walking in, meeting me or whatever. It didn't happen that way. I mean, this cat walked through the door. He was like, yo, Lou, this where we rocking? This where we rocking? And that was it. End of discussion. Boom, Wali's on. Got a phone call from, you want to talk about universe not making mistakes. The way Malcom got to us was through a swimmer, right? The Aquay family. So I gave his son a chance to be a tour guide. I said, we need more representation as tour guides. So he was one of the first black tour guides that we had. And then I never knew what his background was, but he was part of Jack and Jill, was tied in. So next thing you know, I get a phone call in the summer, and it's this young cat like, hey, I kind of coach football. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I was down at the beach, and for a cat that held on tight to his program, real tight, I said, hey, you want to run a practice? And I hadn't met him in person yet.
Yeah.
And through the phone, handed it to him. Boom. And I remember turning to my wife and said, this is going to be different. This kid is different. And right from day one, I think one of the first meetings I had with him, I said, you need to go to the NFL. I said, this is just too big for you, man. This is too small for you. Wow. So boom, Malcom was on. And then it just kept flowing like that, right? So it worked out. Like we had one of our former players working with us. Great kid. Played, Division I. Everything was cool. And then he wasn't with us. And it was just like that. Wasn't anything bad. And all of a sudden, this guy's name kept coming up. Timone Brown. And you like to say it was the kids. It wasn't the kids. It was adults that kept coming to me and talking about his character. It wasn't about coaching. Wasn't about playing. And it was just character. And I got on the phone with him, and I mean, it was immediate. I said, you're hired. Done. I need to hear 2-3 words. So, and same thing with Turk. I mean, it was just like, just good people beget good people. That's right. And then we just kept building it that way. The other one that Wali was a little bit off on was, he said, I'll offer you my services. That's not how that happened either. First day of practice came, this joker came out there and was like, hey, linebacker's over here, running back over there. I said, this is going to go one or two ways, but this locomotive is moving right now. So,
yeah.
And that's just what it's been the entire time. And, right from the beginning, you know the deal. From the beginning, it was always a struggle.
Yes.
It was always a struggle. Like I said, it was a two-pronged struggle. And, the struggle still continues. I mean, it was the worst it's ever been this year in the struggle. But now I got brothers around me. Now I got family around me. And you talk about growing. I mean, these cats, even this last year in myself, exponential growth as a father, as a human, just as a person being with these men. Our kids are getting the best coaching, the best life mentorship. The only thing I'm sad about is that we can't take them all.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. We can't take them all. I mean, because I always said to Malcolm, if not us, then who?
Of course.
Right? We had a young black quarterback at one point, and I just used to say to him, if we don't do it, then who will?
Right.
If we don't give him an opportunity, the next man's not giving him an opportunity. So I still feel that way. If not us, then who? So, my goal working in admissions, and now all of us together is just to try to get in as many good young brothers as we possibly can, just to give an opportunity of a life, that many of us never see. Never see. The game of football, all this polish, all this other stuff, that's not where I come from. So the game of football, if it wasn't for the game of football, I wouldn't be sitting here, period. Wouldn't have got out of high school, wouldn't have gone to college, wouldn't have graduated college. And then my entire life has been football. Every job I've ever gotten is because of football. Not because I'm a great teacher, because they would have never hired me that way. Right? That's all was ever going to be hired as. Now I've transitioned once I got in there.
Right.
But that's all the game of football. And we're still using the game of football, to provide just a platform for these young men and their parents, and honestly, the 804. That's right. We are changing the 804 right now.
I love this shit. I love it.
Change the
I love it. Because I argue back and forth with these dudes at 757 every day in the group. And Turk, no disrespect, but I'm about to say something because I'm gonna be on my platform now. I'm gonna say it because I've been on that platform. I'm so sick and tired. 757, I love them because we give much respect. But the fact that they always want to throw in their face about the yesteryears. And I keep telling you, in the words of the great Shannon Sharp, you got to update your resume.
Man, no question.
I don't give a damn what you did in the 90s, in the 80s, in the early 2000s. We them now.
Right now.
They talk about the reclassification and everything in football and like this. And I said, well, since the reclassification, we can go back to 2009 when Thomas Dale won. When they beat that great Oscar Smith team with And I said that was a change of the tide. And you had Hermitage. Bird won 3. Highland Springs won 4. Gonna probably win one next week.
Manchester
won 1. So as I try to tell them, we've been kicking y'all ass. And I'm just looking at y'all. So the 757, I love y'all. But I'm gonna say it again on my platform because I'm gonna put this in y'all group. Just to let y'all know that we kicking y'all ass. And then y'all talk about, the private school. And this is the thing that I had to go through.
Private school.
2012, I brought Malik over there to visit. I remember we was in the courtyard.
Yeah.
And I remember you was standing there, you just got there, and somebody said, "Ma'am, you need to go on over to Trinity." And I was like, "For what?" And they was like, "Well, they're building a program over. They got a black football coach and everything." And I was like, "It's like, all right, I'll check it out." Because I was coaching AAU, so I was like, I'll check it out. And that wasn't Zane, and it was Anthony Roberson. They came over there. So when I saw Coach then, and it was crazy how you were just talking to the kids, and you was like, "Look, I'm the football coach. We playing Division II football right now. We got to, stay here for a couple of years and build it up. And then, if we continue to do that, and then we'll go Division I, and that's where things start to change." And I remember, so we trying to build a basketball program, and I just remember you saying that. And I was just like, man, so I think the next year, Malik freshman year was a sophomore year when Travion and Blake came. And that's when you guys took off and, won in 2013 and won in 2014. Now, the crowd that was at y'all games won't at those games. Let's just say that. I mean, you probably couldn't find probably 50 people at that game back then. I could be, having a little bit off. But I got tired, me coming from Highland Park, you know what I'm saying? I went to Kennedy, everybody think, I love y'all, John Marshall, but I'm a Justice at heart, but I'm Cougar. I graduated Cougar. But I try to tell these people, man, I say, I'm over here at Trinity. Why you going over there to that white school? Why you doing all this stuff? And I took those lumps. But I told myself, let me tell you something. I said, I want more for my son.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? I know what I went through, what I came up with.
No question.
And I don't want him to go through that.
Yeah.
And I believe it with Trinity. And as I'm sitting here today, and I see 5 brothers that look like me and talk like me.
No question.
That's what I like. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand it. They said, man, you know, one of the coaches he said, man, you be talking about Trinity all the time. I do. Because I probably one of the first ones that was out there saying it because everybody was scared to say it.
That's facts.
And I told him, I said, I'll take it. You saw me in them stands in the basketball game.
Yeah.
Coming to the football games, volunteer and stuff like that, because that's what we had to do. And I'm like, and now to sit here today, 10 years later, to see what you're doing, Coach, man, I'm telling you, man, this is a beautiful thing. Because I got brothers in the room that look just like me. At a predominantly PWI institution, and the thing about it, I said, no, we family at Trinity. And I don't see color. I don't see that. It's never been like that. It's always been people who treated me and my family right. And if they treat them right, they treat me right, I'm going to give it back. And I'm always continuing to come back. Y'all see me at the games. Absolutely. And I love it. And I thank y'all for guys coming out here because they think, you know, yeah, we want to go to private school. I've been to the public school. I've been on that side. I see the private side. I know which side it is. So, you know, well, I'm going to that. I'm not going to even do that.
Man, I
just want to thank y'all, man.
Hey, we appreciate you, man.
I want to thank y'all, man. I've been arguing with these people for so long.
Hey, look,
from day one.
I want to add on something, man, and it's beautiful. And I tell Coach this, and I actually told them, man, like Trinity, one of the schools that I went to West Side High School, grew up on West Boulevard. Mm-hmm. It's one of the schools that I said I wish I needed and had when I was young.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We didn't have that.
No. Right. No. And one thing you said about, man, you don't see color. Everybody sees color,
right,
but you don't act on color.
You don't act on it. Thank you for correcting me.
That's cool, but you know, what we teaching young men, man, so you have football, you have players, you have football players, you have body, you have shells. Mm-hmm. But when you raise those that have a duality or intentional, mm-hmm. They walk with their power. Mm-hmm. All 196,940,000 square meters of the earth, that's what we are. Mm-hmm. So it don't matter what school you go to, where you at.
Right.
And one thing about it, I went to UVA, right?
Right.
And I see some of the young guys be training and talking to, and they like, man, you over that private school. Because I know my sons, they got my blood. They gonna deal with you how they deal with you.
Exactly.
And my thing is, when I went to UVA, because I grew up on West Boulevard, you know, I went to UVA, had the gold teeth in my mouth. UVA was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
They were shocked. But look, I always said I was going to get my degree in architecture.
Right.
I met a young man at the time, Anthony Poindexter, who is assistant AD at Penn State.
Yes, sir.
And I was always like, man, I'm here. If you weren't from my hood or where I'm from, I was like, man, you ain't nothing. That's what my young mindset, right?
Right.
And I got there, and Brooks was telling me, he was like, man, it's another kid like you. He tough, he get busy. So I met him. He come up, and there's Dex like, hey, man, what's up, man? I'm like, this cat right here, we put these pads on now. Mm-hmm. When I tell you, the boy was lightning in the bottle, he got to have you. And what it did from a young man, he was always learning. Listen, man, nobody care where you from.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? Nobody care. You grow past that. Where you from, man?
Right.
Who are you as a man?
As a man.
Right. So you still got, and that's my thing to all the 804 coaches out there, because I am what I am, or I say I am. But we got coaches out here like, man, I'm in that private school, this, that. Man, what you talking about?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Man, what you talking about? Because we got men over here.
Fact.
Mm-hmm. And we deal how it's dealt. You feel me?
I hear it all the time, man. I hear it all the time. And let's get into that. Let's just go right into it. Man, so.
I'm ready to jump.
There was a post that I saw. Shout out to Coach Puka. I saw this in Hollow Springs. You know, shout out to Puka. And I saw this. And they was talking about the public and private thing. And he wasn't disrespectful. Well, at least I didn't take it that way. He was just making a point of how he saw things. But I guess we got to have is the elephant in the room that needs to be addressed.
Man, no question.
Between why people send their kids to public and private. And I want you guys here, since we're here, to address that, because I know y'all saw it.
I
didn't see it.
Well, you've seen it. Me and you talked about it. And when I was at the Verona Trinity game the other day, one of the Verona coaches mentioned it to me, which won't no bad thing, because I said, no big deal. And he asked me how I felt about that. I said, I don't feel no type of way about it, because I know what I've been saying out here all the time. But what you need to do is ask the people that are currently there right now about what they think about it. You know what I'm saying? So I can speak and tell y'all all day. So y'all here, let's address it.
Cause what it say?
Let me find the post right quick.
What it say?
I don't know what it says.
Is it the one referring to
Shout out to Puka, man.
the East End, like us, private schools going over to the East End?
And taking the
taking the kids.
Well, that was
something to the.
That's not Trinity, but,
right?
Well, but because he said he wasn't talking about LCA, but he didn't call any names. So I didn't know what. I can't say, okay, well, you was talking about Trinity or you was talking about this, because I got 2 feet. I got one public and one private.
That's right.
So for me, I was just like, well, let's address it, because I'm going to defend the private side as well as the public, but I'm recently more private because my son went there. So I just want to get you guys to kind of address that.
Well, I'm gonna let them talk on that.
I don't, like I said, I know Puka. Shout out to Puka, man. Great guy. And been doing this for a lot of years, man.
Legend.
So, yeah, he's
legend, Metro legend.
Yeah, definitely a legend.
And I seen the post. Someone showed me the post, and I read it. And I can't say what it said verbatim, but it did say to the nature of what you're saying in regards to the, for lack of better words, coming to East End, taking East End kids and going to the private sector. And again, like Malcom said, that isn't Trinity, you know. Right. And my thing is this: I don't say that because a kid isn't locked into an area. My son is in the East End.
No question.
My son is an Edwards kid. His name is Edwards. And also is this, man, the community isn't the locality. The community is the people. And that constantly changes. So whether I help out at this community
no question,
or help out over here, it's the people, man. So you can't lock me into a specific location and say I'm only supposed to help here. That isn't fair to me or the people that I'm trying to serve, right? And that's the way I feel about it. So again, I don't take no shade to the post. I just think that's what it is. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak on this. Honestly, I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, you can say it's Trinity. You can post it all day.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
because if it did, we wouldn't be sitting here.
That's right.
Because people have been screaming this from every coach in the area was talking
football,
this.
basketball side.
Yeah, but they were talking it directly to my face in 2012. The one thing I always say to you is that I can tell you what school's having a problem in the area because I'm getting about 15 phone calls from that school every day.
Okay.
So I can tell you which schools got bad teachers, a bad coach, a drug problem, alcohol problem, because them kids are flocking to us. Now, here's the other piece, and that ties into it. I don't have to go out. We don't have to go out and get kids. Period. This right here, we can't bring in the kids that want to come here. Right. I mean, if people put out posts like that, and again, Puka is amazing. So I'm not saying that post is about that. But the other people that speak on that, come to a game. I mean, I got opposing kids, quarterbacks, running backs, defensive ends, linemen in our locker room.
Yeah.
On a game day, on our sideline, dapping us up. Man, one game I had to kick an opposing kid out the locker room, right? Because they just want to be a part of this,
right?
And that piece of it, right? I mean, that's the part that has always bothered me with the public school, private school deal. You know, hey, y'all want to play? No, we can't play y'all. You know, because y'all might take a kid or they always look at it like, you look my kid in the eye, you're going to steal him.
Right.
You know, like it's some magic witchcraft.
You hear that, not from the Highland Springs.
You hear it all the time.
You hear it all the time.
But let me tell you what I told somebody, a coach at the All-Star game. I said, listen, man, if I was coming after your kid, I'd be coming after your starting running back, your quarterback, your All-American lineman. I'm not taking the 15th kid. That's the kid that usually tries to transfer anyway.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, Highland Springs, I'm coming for Mekhi Becton.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. So if y'all start losing them cats over here or whatever school, then you know I'm coming. Because if I start going after them, I'm going to get them. Seriously. Just what we have to sell, what we have to give, there's no way you're going to say no. Not just the amount of kids that we can reach and talk to with this group right here, the amount of kids that train with these men, that come across. I can tell you this right now. Name an all-Metro kid, and they have been through Trinity on a visit.
Oh, I know.
We've had first right of refusal.
When we was there. We was happening for basketball.
Yes, exactly.
And they kept looking at me like I was crazy. I'm like, yo, they was here today.
Right.
So
These cats coming to us.
Program, they coming over here to us.
Yeah.
So I saw that.
Man, look, I'm going to be short, man. I'm going to let these two talk, man. But I always say do the work. right? We out here, I mean, we doing the work, right? Like, it doesn't matter, man, East End, West End, man. I mean, I do work in Detroit, Charlotte, Cleveland. Man, do the work. When I'm my brother's keeper, man, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. I'm my brother's keeper. East End, West End, North Side, South Side, it doesn't matter. And it's out of respect, man. Like Coach say, man, we don't go and, hey, we want to try to take this kid. Man, I show love, man. My grandmother always say the love is the strongest energy, right? We show love in the city. We show love in the city. We show love in the sticks. That's all. That's it. If a kid want to go, if any one of our kids that's here, that's not our kids. These are young men. We all should be raising young men.
Right. They can get a better situation.
Period.
I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah, nobody's saying these are our kids. These are your man. Look, man, and we're not. And put this straight. We're not going out trying to taking nobody kids. Right. We all here to raise young men to get them in a better position. Right. To be men, solid men in society. Period. And if you ain't in it for that, man, look, man. Hey, man, look, man, y'all come talk to me.
Yeah.
You jumping in on that?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
I'll jump in.
I'll just speak on kind of just the comments that I've received and some little, feuds on Twitter or whatever. But I would say that just in 804 in general, like I've been a player in the 804, so I kind of understand the landscape from a little ways back. I think change and innovation is what scares a lot of people. And so what we've been able to do, like, from just a philosophical standpoint on both sides of the football is a different look than I think a lot of people have seen. And so it's not just the kids. We're not just taking athletes and saying, hey, run a go route, or hey, just go do this and it's going to be fine. Like, we are challenging every single player that we have, and we are developing. We're making them a better player, and I think that's what a lot of people appreciate. And this is just on the football side. This is not what we do outside of that, and what Trinity has offered a lot of our kids, like the opportunities. And so I would just say it's just a different feel. I mean, you'll knock it until you come see it. And I think that's the big thing. The dominant performances, not just because they're really good athletes sometimes, it's because we have our shit together. As a staff, we gel. This is kind of the best staff, this is the best staff I've ever been a part of in anything. I think it's just a lot of guys that know how to teach at a high level. And it's not about just all the knowledge that they have, it's what they can give. And so, I mean, just next level is next level. And I think people should really kind of understand that, we don't want to take anybody. We coach anybody that we have. That's a fact. And we're going to develop them. It's funny. Timone's couple first practices, right? And we were going through drills, and it was like we had 10 guys on one line, and it was the JV guys on the end. And, we're just trying to get through practice because we got to put shit in. And so Timone's like, well, shit, we're going to go get this work. So he took the 4 or 5 guys on the back end of the line, made another drill, another activity, whatever it is, to just make sure they're getting work. And I just don't think every single student athlete at other places are seeing the way we see our kids. And so I just think it's just the different levels of coaching, and we've all been in really, pretty good situations. And so, I think it's just the level of coaching that they're getting as well, on top of everything else that Trinity offers. Agreed.
Just to build on everything, I think what people have to realize, again, it's a holistic development. I believe once we get into this bickering game of you got this, you took my kid, you took this. One, don't nobody own any of these kids in the area. You have no ownership of these children or their parents or their lifestyle. But as a coach, we belittle the meaning of coach. Richmond, Virginia, I'm saying it right now, does not understand the responsibilities of a coach. The coach is not respected to the levels of which he works or she works. A coach is not simply somebody coaching a sport. They're therapists, they're counselors, they transportation home to and fro. They are parents, they uncles, they aunts, they brothers, they sisters. Coaching takes way more than what somebody understands. So when you come down and you want to bicker about my kid going here and there, we have to come back to the realization that the kid's going to want to find the best coach that's going to help them grow as a person. Even if a kid does not necessarily know how to communicate what they need, they know what they need by how they feel. And when they feel people that love them genuinely, that care for them genuinely, that want to see them develop genuinely, it's going to change their perspective, and they're going to want to go where they're going to want to go. And then you get a tag along that they boys going, now it's like, yo, I really want to go go too. So it don't have nothing to do with somebody wanting to take your kids or take this or take that. I think all of us need to understand that the grand scheme of it all, we should be raising the level of the 804 wherever you are. And I'm telling you this right now. I'm from the 804. I'm a city kid. I lived in Fairfield Court Projects, and best believe I ain't stepped foot in Armstrong High School because at that time I graduated in 2010 from Henrico. Armstrong was bad. So I'm like, bro, I can't go over there and get the development I need. If I want to go to Virginia Tech, I want to go to UVA. So I use the address. And I went to Henrico. And the only reason I knew about Henrico is because my cousin went there. My big bro went there. So now it's like, oh, okay, you told me Henrico like this, so I'm going there. It seems genuine there. So let me find that space that's going to help me. Like at the end of the day, we need to raise up our level as coaches.
That's it.
And that's not coming at nobody. That's just us as men need to realize, yo, we the ones that raise up these young kings to be what they gotta be to sit here and take it to levels that they never seen before in this area. We can't just want to just raise them to be a great athlete. They have to be great men, because men, if you haven't noticed, been missing. So
that's it.
It's a bigger purpose.
And I'm glad that y'all addressed it, and I loved it because, you know, I got respect for Coach Puka, and, you know, the Highland Springs team will be on at some point.
No question.
I'm going to ask them the same
great
question.
men.
Right.
They are fire.
Right.
Hey, listen.
And I'm going to ask them the same question when they come on to say, hey, you know, what was that? So I wanted you to address it because you guys are private school and I'm a part of that. And I love those guys. Those guys, they love me over there and I love them back. So I just wanted to say, hey, let me put this out there because I'm not afraid to ask the question, the elephant in the room. I just kind of wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah,
I think what he was asking, I think,
at the end of the day,
you know, people, I think what somebody was saying that Trinity would beat Highland Springs or something. I don't even know what it was, but why y'all don't play. And it was like, you know, he would say, look, make sure y'all do your homework when you're choosing a school. Because he was saying, well, we thinking about coming over there, but we might go private. And he said, look, you know, you do your homework, but don't just choose a school for this. Don't you know, we got resources over here at the Springs and Verona, but check around before you just start pointing at this. And I understood what he was trying to say. So, you know, he just kind of schooled him. So, you know, I had to kind of put that out. I paraphrase it. If it's something that's wrong or whatever, please give me a call. We'll address it. But that was kind of like the gist of it. We're kind of like that. So,
I mean, just knowing him and knowing how he always treated me, I would never take that as disrespectful.
No.
It wasn't.
He always treated me really well.
But I know that my inbox was jumping because you know, it was like, oh, man, what you think about that from you, Trinity? Because everybody's scared to say it.
Hey, that's funny, man, because Mac was just talking about, man, that's like, I don't even see private public school. That's football.
See, that's how I see it.
Because the thing about it, like I tell cats, a lot of them came to our game. Men respect two things, man.
Right.
Knowledge or pain. So in that football field, nobody care where you from.
No, they don't.
Nobody care where you from. Nobody care what you going through. Man, let me see something.
Right.
Right. Something. And I tell you what, our young men over here, they got to see something. So regardless of what you talking about, man, prove it. That's how it is.
Right.
Ain't no private, public, man, prove it.
Yeah.
Just like a man, right? You see a man, this cat from the sticks, this cat from the bricks, and you think just because you from the bricks, you one up. Man, come on, man. Everybody go through something. Everybody got something, man. Prove it.
Yes, sir.
And we don't speak on it. We don't speak on nothing because we respect everybody's craft. I think.
That's
I think we respect everybody as a coach, and I think just that's why we take it so personal sometimes because it's just like you're kind of coming at us as a coach, like we don't know what we're doing, and I think we just got a lot of respect, so we don't kind of point out, hey, y'all can't do this, or we can beat y'all. Like we really don't care. Like if you're not on the schedule, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, and that's how they say it. I mean, you know, when I was coming through there and people was like, man, like you were saying about not going to Armstrong, Fairfield Court was right in front of my school, Kennedy. And you know, just walking and if you had to go catch the bus, like I had to catch the bus, I had to go into the projects to catch the city bus to go home.
Yep.
So you know what was going on back then.
Yeah.
So I was just like, but to say that, it was just like, well, people told me, said like, send your son over, they got better resources. Yeah. And that's fact. But I get tired of hearing that too. It's like, well, they don't know what they don't understand. And I'm not directing that at Coach Puka at all. But people don't understand the private side if you've never been on the private school side. They just see, oh, they get the reclass. Oh, they get to play whoever they want. Oh, they get to go do this. And I was like, oh, that's a little bit of it, but that's not the gist of it.
Right. Big part. The big part when that game is over with. Like
right.
I play 8 years, man. And I've been down that dark side, man. And all these cats, a lot of these cats, man, I'm gonna talk mine. Because I've been there. I put that work in and play 8 years in the league. You feel me? Yes, I've been on that side where I ain't want to be here no more, right? Because I ain't have a structure around me. Right. What you gonna do with these young men right there?
Right.
Some of them kids go through your school. How can you help them? All you thinking about is the physical side.
Yeah.
See, we over here talking about something parallel to the physical side and the physical game. Because at some point that game gonna be gone.
Right.
And when that game gone, where are you with to help that young man? Right. I'm having some brothers right now the same age me that's going through it, right? And I got 3 sons. So all these coaches saying they love these kids, man, what are you thinking about as men? You thinking about past the game. We want you to, everybody go to NFL, CFL, go play professional ball, whatever. But when that game is over, what have you given that they can apply to life that they can actually be here?
Yeah. No, that's major. That's super major, man. I just want y'all to really take heed to what Coach is saying, because if we don't develop them beyond, the X's and O's, like it's levels to it. I promise you, it's levels to it. And when you get to know this young king that's in front of you, for not the number, not the height, not the weight, not the 40 time, and you know them for their name, their last name, their upbringing, who's around them, what they've been through,
what else they like,
how they eat. Like when you start to know these things, we can help them get into positions that will secure them for life. Like they need to know routine. They need to have discipline. They need to have structure, intrinsic motivation. Like they need to know these things to win at life, because I promise you, football is going to end no matter if you played 20 years in the league. You need to know your actual gift. Football is what you do, it's not who you are. But most of us out here doing it and thinking this is us, and so now we lost. It's not who you are, it's what you do. So
it's just tracking, man.
You need the programs that's gonna help you see that. Like, so I love like programs like Highland Springs, because of I look at it like what have they done in the culture, and I see them placing things around for the culture. They're not just showing up and saying, well, come over here because we won states. They putting in work and putting people in places from Little League on up. And they got like this dang, they got this system, bro. And it's a network. You go to Springs, you starting to get, that name rings a bell so heavy in Virginia that they're starting to take a national stance.
Exactly.
I can tell you this.
That's why they kids ain't leaving.
Call from
exactly. That's why they kids not leaving.
I've never had a kid leave Coach Johnson's program.
Exactly.
Because it's the right way. It's a program.
But never got a phone.
But Coach, but you just said it. It's a program.
Right.
Like
never leave that
a program is a system. It's not a team. It's a program. So Trinity has built a program. There's great schools around here building programs. We just need more programs. So why not be in a situation where people come to Virginia like, man, you know what? You just go look around like Poop said. Identify what's the best for you and go pull up.
And let's go pull up. Exactly. That's why I said it wasn't nothing to get offended about, because I was like, and then Marcus Lewis, shout out to Coach Marcus as well at Verona, because he doing the same thing over there, seeing that brother come up. And I was just like, and he echoed the same thing. And I was just like, okay, and see, and that's my guy. He's been on as well. So I love to see my guys coming up, man, and building these programs, because back down there, it was always Hampton, right?
Yeah.
It was always Hampton. Hampton this, Hampton that, and now I can live in the city. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. The greatest high school football player ever created.
Don't you say it.
Ronald Curry.
Hey,
I gotta say.
Hey,
ever
shout out to
created,
Ronald Curry.
He might be.
Hey.
Bubba Chuck didn't suck either.
Ronald Curry.
But that's the consensus, though. I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Hey, let me add something else to this last thing about people talking about Trinity need to play Highland Springs. A lot of that is confusion. A lot of that is noise. Why? Because you got 2 strong black men running programs.
Boom.
And there's about 70, 80 other schools we could play in between them and us.
Right.
Come on.
And y'all
Yeah, right.
Hold on.
And these folks out here talking about Like, I mean, it jumps to it every time.
Yeah,
Trinity good, play Highland Springs.
Yeah.
What about you? It's the people.
Yeah, what about you?
What about your team?
Thomasdale don't exist. Manchester don't exist.
Right.
Midlow don't exist.
Right.
We got
You don't see how the
I got teams we can walk to and play.
Right.
That won't play us.
Play us.
Right. So everybody and listen, when people ask me like, you know, what I can tell you right now, Coach Johnson's the one that I've always looked at and said, this is where I need to get to. Period. In the discussion. I remember them walking into a banquet. We was at the banquet, all Metro banquet. I just remember kind of looking over like, yeah, we're going to be that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys had the rings on.
Yeah.
But just representation.
Representation, man.
Right.
It's a brand.
So
It is a brand.
So why do y'all try to cause confusion against us? You know what it is.
Right.
You already know what it is.
Right, and it got to be the people because I've never heard any.
And it's not them.
Right, it's not them.
No.
You know, Coach Lewis hasn't said it.
No.
I have nobody from Highland Springs said anything.
Never.
I talk to Harry Lee all the time. Never said that.
Right.
Never. That
That's
man, I called him for a helmet.
So love. Yep.
For a helmet in the summer.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he's like, hey, you know, if you want to chop it up, you want to come over, get a scrimmage, this, that, the other. I mean, we ended up having not to do it that day or something.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, no problem. If we can change it, you know, we'll change it. Like,
do.
never a word from them. It's everybody else. I mean, it's all these little chatters and
They
and
don't
this,
pay.
that,
They
the other.
continue to do what they do.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up on the clickbait.
And look, that's what we talking about, man. Doing the work. Man, they doing the work, and the more of us that does the work, that's why we see production.
Yeah,
that's how 804 is raising up his standards.
Right.
Yes, that's respect.
Man, don't get me started. 'Cause like I said, I wanted to address it because I know people watch what we doing over here at BallinVA. So you're gonna see it, and I wanted people to. I wanted to address it with y'all, so we can put it out there, so we can put an end to this shit today. And it's like there's no beef. No. There was nothing. I mean, he made a comment. He said what he said. It wasn't offensive. He just said. He just said he won't talk about LC. I don't know who the hell he was talking about. I don't know. I didn't call to ask him either. I don't know. I just met him recently. But, I mean, personally, I'm not a coach, so it doesn't mean it. But since people are like, what do you think? What do you think? No, I'm going to ask them.
That's right.
You know? So
we don't think about it.
Brothers keeper, baby.
Yeah.
So think about it. We got bigger fish to fry in the private school.
Right.
Fact.
Yeah.
804 brothers
we got
keep
way too many other problems in the
on our
private school.
schedule. That's not really a concern, to be honest.
Man, I love it. And I thank y'all. But we was talking about. Let's go into talking about Coach Sanders, Deion Sanders, man.
Oh yeah.
What he did, in regards over this weekend, taking that Colorado job, man. You know, we was talking off air about that, man. What do y'all think about that, man?
I love it.
I would say
I think it's great.
I love it.
I mean, I think it's great for the game. For him, what we were talking about off air, I was saying he started out. Turk had reminded me. You know, I say he started out in high school, but he started out little league, then went to high school, and then got to college, and then had to take kind of like a sub college job. Right, the only place he can go is in the black college. And now he's getting an opportunity to go FBS. But look, he's not taking Ohio State, right? I mean, he's taking a team that's had 3 years, 4 years losing record, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The other thing is he's built, like he's put a lot of money, not just into Jackson State. That's the thing people don't understand. Like I think he got a turf
energy
for 2 or 3 different schools. Like he's used his status to really build up, the black college sector and really give it a name, give it a life. Something we've always known, period, right? I mean, we've always known that. But I think it goes back to it again, right? If he stayed for 30 years and left year 31, he was a sellout. If he does it this way, he's a sellout. What if he's pouring twice as much money back in because of his status now? He's always going to have Jackson State come up on his resume. And now you've got kids that come out of there, played for Deion, that can become coaches. See, mentorship is the key that they're not talking about.
No question.
Right? This Jeff Saturday stuff, right? Mentorship.
Jeff.
The coaching ranks is probably the hardest thing to come up in. And a lot of that is good old boy, that's my boy, that's my boy's son, that's my boy. Like, have you ever noticed every pro and Division I coach, their kid is on a team?
Absolutely.
A Division I team. They take a roster spot on a Division I team. Don't matter. They could be the kicker, the place kicker, placeholder, something. And they play on that team. Reason why is because then they've already got the pedigree to become a coach.
Right.
So they've gotten their masters for free. They've gotten this for free. They've got the 4 years. Yada yada. They know players. They know this. They know that. And like I've always told coaches. I told Malcom when we were talking. I said you need to go to NFL. I said, don't ever go below where you want to be, right?
Right.
Because it doesn't work where you start out Division III, then you go to Division II. No. Yeah. You could be a bad Division I FBS coach, but you will stay at the FBS level and keep kicking around and getting jobs. And so to me, a lot of that, having him in that status, again, like there's so many different layers to what he was able to do at Jackson State. And then the opportunities he's going to be able to give the kids that either played for him, that's on his coaching staff. Now that he's at Colorado, I mean, he's able to get GAs.
Yeah.
You know, he's able, I mean, the doors that he can open are immense. And the last thing I'm going to say about it is this. Even when you make it to a certain standard, right? You know, as a black man, right, you're told how you have to act when you get there.
Yep.
Right? Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what your background is. And if you want to sit in the room, then you gotta play the game, right? You gotta kind of conform or whatever. So the people that you hire around you, a lot of times the school will dictate that, right? Especially when you're talking about an FBS type of situation. You know, this guy's to this guy's to that. Deion, again, breaks that mold right off the bat.
Absolutely.
And then the fact that he's comfortable, he can look through all that. He's not looking for of course he's going to look for the tie. Of course he's looking for that. But he can still see a kid in sweatpants or a man in sweatpants, a T-shirt and a pair of Jordans and say, that guy, that's a good coach. I can give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
So he's looking well beyond the stereotypical, you know, look of what a young black man or what a black coach needs to look like or to be able to represent your school, you know, all the stuff that they say. Deion did it with his music, right? Deion did it with our music. Deion did it with our swag. Deion did it with our flavor. You know what he say? Turn my music on. Doo, doo, doo. Right? I mean, that's not going to change at Colorado.
Exactly.
But
he's never changed who he was. Yeah. So he's still going to be able to get on the mic, say exactly what he needs to say, take on Nick Saban's, take on all these coaches. But again, that platform for him to be able to bring more brothers in, because if not him, then who?
I think, man, what is beautiful thing, right? And to add on to what Coach is talking about, I'm a big component, man, of being yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. And I played 8 years. I wasn't prime. Prime, probably one of the best players. You know what I'm saying? Best players to ever, play football.
Yeah.
But you know, I can speak on my experience and going to UVA, and UVA was scared of me. This is a true story. They were scared of me. They were scared of myself. Brooks trying to tell, Brooks, cut your hair, this, that, other. Not being who you are, because we from a different environment. But what Prime is bringing, to all of us, and what each one of you all are doing as well while we're on this podcast, is allowing young men to understand, to be yourself at all costs.
That's right.
To be yourself at all costs. So those that don't like Prime moving on, moving forward, what are you doing? You understand what I'm saying? What Prime is showing is energy. It ain't really got nothing to do with money, this. He went down there with the energy and the love energy to create and to manifest something.
Yeah.
He's going to do the same thing now. And more of us do that, right? You become unstoppable. You become unstoppable. And so more so ever than anything else, him opening up that portal for all these other coaches, anybody else to come in, be yourself. Be yourself, because when you're yourself, that's when the universe works in your favor.
All the time.
And the last with Deion, man, and I think we all know this because we've seen or know a ton about him, was, loved him as a player when I was growing up, right? And, he got killed. The media, right? I mean, he's not humble. He's not this. He does that. And then to come to find out the man never drank, never did drugs, never did this, never did that.
Perception.
Right? And like he said, 20 years after the fact, he made fun of everyone. He said, man, Prime was a made-up character. He said, that was just a character. So, he played the game. He created a character, made people buy into it, got paid off of it, retired that character, and then now it's coming back.
Happened a lot of
You know what I'm saying? But just think how smart that was at that time.
Yeah.
powerful.
And the power and the amount of arrows he took back then. Right?
Yeah.
His hair and this, you dancing, you doing this.
Shades.
Showboating. Yada, yada. Right.
I love it.
Right? But all the while getting contracts, right? The first guy, right, with Dallas went in there and made sure, right? I mean, he got his
own
sponsorship, his own deals.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is still the same thing that's happening. It's the same thing. Like you said, it's power. But he's been doing it since he was 17 years old, 18 years old.
Power.
Right? But now that the country is in a position to even see him, because back then they couldn't see him.
Nope.
He might as well have been Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
Right?
Well, with
they couldn't
technology
see him.
now.
All they could see was gold teeth, earring, Jerry curl, thug.
Yeah.
Yep.
Done.
That's what they saw.
Yeah.
Can't speak properly, showboat.
That was
thug.
society, though.
Right.
Society.
But that's what I'm saying. But he took that.
Yeah.
He ate that. Right? Because let's not talk about that. Might be the best quarterback to ever come out of the state of Florida, too, by the way.
Oh, Prime.
Deion was a quarterback. Right. And don't say he didn't have an arm, because he was a great baseball player.
Yep.
I think
Tremendous baseball
he
player.
just
What you see in his son right now, I mean, just think about how good he was at the secondary position he played. Think about how good he was as a wideout.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was so good they put him at wideout in the NFL.
Right. In the NFL, part-time.
Prime blessed
Was
with
better than other
blessed with
wideouts.
that energy, man. He blessed with that energy. Everybody
Yeah.
look at everything else, man, and the same thing we talking about here is the energy. Like this right here flows.
Right.
It never was forced.
Right.
Like, and I don't do anything forced. And what Prime is doing in the display of the whole world, including the United States, is the energy that he's putting forth. It's flowing. He's not forcing anything. He's allowing it to flow and developing and showing that love, the most powerful, strongest energy, that love energy to his players and the people around him.
Yeah. I would like to add on to it, man. I think from the perspective of empathizing with those that felt some type of way about him being at a HBCU and then him leaving, I can get the frustration. I can get it, but there's a nature of the beast which is always got to be, we got to dig deeper to understand what's really happening.
That's right.
We don't understand how HBCUs are financed. We don't understand how they get their funding. We don't understand how the government is working with HBCUs. We don't understand all these dynamics. We don't understand truly the challenges that he went through by choosing Jackson State. We remember, if you recall, you watched the news, Jackson, Mississippi actually went through a water crisis. And they're still in the water crisis. Brown water, and had to boil the water, put it in the big Gatorade jugs and put the jug up and then shower like that. And he was down there during that time. So I think one of the things I want to point out is that, yeah, I get it. HBCUs really used to be the mecca of football.
Yep.
Right? Let's be very clear.
Talk about grammar.
Let's be very clear. HBCUs were the mecca of football. Big programs like Texas and them started to realize, like, oh, I can get one of these brothers and they make us that much better. Let me go ahead and get 5. Let me get 10. Or I can get more. I'm going to get more. We got to understand, like, Walter Payton went to the HBCU. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Jerry Rice go to the HBCU?
Jerry Rice did.
Every player,
That was Walter.
basically every Hall of Famer that was black before the year of like 1965 was HBCU. You know,
Went to HBCU.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how Eddie Robinson was the winningest coach of all time. And actually, the statement with one of them was what was the Alabama's coach? What was his name? Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
He was playing USC. And they had a black running back at the time. And he went running down the sideline and he said, I quote, "I need to get me one of them." And next year they had a black running back.
Come on now.
But crazy. The other part what we talk about in this everything while we sitting here is it's called unity, right?
Yeah.
Unity is the most powerful thing. Prime was trying to get the HBCUs to have that one heart, one mind, that unity.
Right.
Yeah, across the board.
And a lot of times, you know, we always say over here, but it be our own inside, right? That's why we always talk about everyday brothers keeper.
Yep.
And Prime was across the board trying to get the HBCUs to be the brothers keeper, right? If I'm getting this for a game, all of us should get this for a game. But some of us still didn't want to adhere to their brother, right? And so this it's peeling back, right? A lot of problems, a lot of issues that we have to look at ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
And so the ones that say, I don't like Prime going over there, tell us why.
Oh, Oh yeah, jump back in.
The same thing here in 804 when we talk about private and public school.
Right.
Tell us why. When that brother's doing the same thing that you doing over there, tell us.
Hello. I think I have a
This is just what Wali do on the day.
Right, go ahead.
We know that.
Hey,
Preach.
I hope y'all caught that. Like at the end of the day, what I want to say is to the people that's not in the sports world, but y'all always got something to say on your Twitter and your Instagram. Look here. Just because you got social media don't mean you got to say something all the time. And the bad thing about this situation is that a lot of times we be the ones butchering each other. You see me, you see everybody around me, you see us. When I say each other, you know who I'm talking to.
Yep.
We got to stop doing that, man. Like this man went and he advanced. And you know when one of us advanced, the ideology is that we all advance.
Oh, right.
So if he advances to Colorado and then he put Colorado on the map, guess what? It's going to have a trickle effect.
Yep.
The college level always impacts the NFL.
All the time.
This is why you see wrinkles from college make it to the NFL, from the Wildcat to cats like RG3 to cats like Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
They decide to adjust because these guys are so talented. We can't be in our old mind state and think we can use them the right way. We're going to use them like college use them. So now if everything's a full effect, everything gets touched. If he goes from Jackson State to Colorado and Colorado becomes a top 25 team and makes it to the CFP, the playoffs, which is expanding to 12, if he makes it there, guess how many eyes then see us differently because he did it the natural way. He did it the right way. He did it as himself. He spoke power. He spoke life as himself. He in there playing young Dolph and everybody watching.
Right.
He in there bringing in Yellow Bees and everybody watching. Rick Ross and everybody watching.
He never down any brother that's coached there in the HBCU, and that's on a that's a macro on a micro level. The same thing with high school ball. Hey, same thing with high school ball. You'll never see any of these brothers talk about any other brother out there from a negative standpoint. Period. You know, or some school. And so we got to be our brother's keeper. Yep. When I see myself, when I see my brother, I see myself. And that's how we raise the young men. Yeah. Everybody we come in. That's not our young men. That's how all of us should raise the young men.
Right. But listen, I mean, we're gonna keep it real because I told you we were gonna keep it real here. This is what we're bringing to the private school. This is what happened this year. Our kids got a chance to be unapologetically black. Period. Our coaching staff, our kids. I mean, for years. I mean, look, I had to be a certain way to run this thing a certain way to get to a point where where we can be where we are right now. But to have the kids in the building, smart, deserve to be there. I was actually at an event last night, and I had 4 people in the building walk up to me independently and said, you know, I know kids come here for different reasons, but the group of young men that you have right now walking the building and playing football are the best young men that I've seen come through the building. Period. They didn't say football player. They said some of the best young men I've seen come through. And to be able to go out on the field, walk that talk, play the music we play, look the way we look, hats on, different way, wearing our shirts the way we want to wear them, kids doing what they do. And it was a shock. I mean, it was a shock to the system. It was a culture shock to the system of that independent private school sector. And it still is.
They show their true colors every opportunity they get.
It's funny, man, because I talked Coach about this, and I know you had Brooks on here. And we went to UVA, and I told him it was the same exact thing. And that was, 20-something years ago. And it's the same exact thing, but that's why representation matters. That's why you having this matter. That's why each one of these men here matter. That's why doing the work matters.
Yeah. It does, man. People don't understand that. People don't understand it. And today, man, I'm telling you, I'm just blown away. I'm kind of like, I got my tongue tied. I don't even know what to say, man. Because this is what I'm talking about. This is what you see. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all see, this is what you get over here at our school.
Go deep.
And you know me, I'm everywhere, man. I'm like Uber. I'm everywhere. You know, I might run on my Highland Springs, this week, whatever. But like I said, I sent my son to this institution, and this is what I saw. And seeing these brothers over here, man, if you don't want to have your son come over here to play for these guys, then I don't know what to say. And now I see why you got these guys, Coach. And for me, man, like I said, we talk so much over the years, man, and just to see these guys in here, I look at y'all, man, it's a beautiful thing. I've been fighting with these people, man. And it was like, for no reason. And I'm like, man, look, I don't care what y'all think. And then I get in my DMs, hey, I'm sending my kid over to Trinity. Oh, for real? The same people that say they won't. And I was going through them because they come up in the memories on Facebook, right? They come up in the memories. I was like, I should hold on to this one. I should hold this one.
That's right.
I should hold this one. I should hold this one. Because then they used to come to me, they said, man, you're a trailblazer. You're a trailblazer. It was you. But then the same people said I was a trailblazer. Women said, man, we tired of hearing you talk about your kid. When have you ever heard me talk about Malik when I was at Trinity? I pretty much was up. Thank you. So I was like, hey, I'm going to let them do that.
As you should, though.
Right.
Yeah. Every man of the person.
But I could have, but I didn't. Yeah. Like I said, I'm like Biggie. I just play my position.
That's it.
That's just what I do. Mm-hmm. So, but no, man, but I'm glad that we said all of that, man. So let's just transition over into the season, man, because y'all had a great season. Y'all went undefeated, was what, 11-0, 12-0?
11-0.
11-0, man. Let's talk about this season, man, from the start to finish, man. And we can go back to last year if y'all want, because y'all ain't this year y'all lost. Let me take it back. Y'all didn't lose a game this year. Mm-hmm. Last year,
8-3, so we're 14 in a row.
Yeah.
Right? 14 in a row. And really, this team was made, this season was made on a fumble on the 1-yard line a year ago in the state championship game. And they came off the sideline. And at the time, the quarterback might have said something to the center or whatever. And then one of the seniors just looked over and said, yo, shut up. We just need to play a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was really that calm. And so, again, it's one of the moments where I went to go say something and just turned around and was like, this is something different. And these cats, right at that point, you just realize they just built different. I mean, they were raised different. They're built different. They've been coached differently.
Yeah.
And then to come to this season, actually, I'm enjoying the season right now. I used to talk to Malcom. I'd say, he knows, like, Monday we're going to get beat. Every Monday, right?
Roller
Monday
coaster.
Walk in.
What?
Like, I don't know.
Roller coaster.
I don't know how we ever going to win this game.
We ain't going to win till Friday night.
Right, Friday night. Right. I'm looking at everything. I'm like, man, we got to do this. We got to do that. Tuesday. Because that's just the head coach.
If you don't want to hear it, don't go to his office from Monday to Wednesday. Yeah. Sunday to Wednesday, don't go.
Yeah.
Because you'll be thinking like, shit, are we going to win this month?
Because, look, I wake up. Look, if I let them have it, I mean, we're going to win by 40.
No question.
Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
45, 50.
No question.
70. Like, we're going. So we wouldn't even have practice at that point. It'd be like, man, we good. But so that was always my mentality, right? That Monday to, I'm always working through it. But so I didn't really get a chance to enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying it right now. I always tell him, don't see me till Christmas about next year, right? Because right now, I mean, I said to Malcom at one point, I said I shouldn't be worried at all, should I? Like, I'm gonna get to next year and look back and think, why did I ever worry about any game? Mm-hmm. I mean, this team gave up less than 100 points. They gave up 96 points on the season. Mm-hmm. That's what me pulling kids out sometimes in the second quarter, third quarter. 96 points. I mean, it was as dominant. I mean, the first 3 games we gave up negative rushing yards.
Wow.
Yeah. Negative rushing yards in the first 3 games. Mm-hmm. Again, that's putting people in at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's replacing people. So everybody's talking about the reclass, this, that, the other. I mean, I challenge you. I'm telling you, it was cats coming from the bench, because at like one kid hits, everybody hits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, and then offensively, the funny part was offensively all year we're like, when the offense catches up to the defense, 35-0. Mm-hmm. When the offense catches up to the defense, 57. When the offense catches up to the defense, running back with 1,300 yards. Receiver with 1,000 yards. Another receiver with 500 yards. Quarterback with 33 touchdowns. When the offense catches up to the defense, if the offense had ever caught up to the defense, we wouldn't have played a game.
We wouldn't have got to the first quarter.
Like shit.
Wow.
So we could have at some points. I mean, one of our Zane Lewis was in the locker room. He said, "Man, we like 2019 LSU in this piece."
Right.
Because that's what it was. I mean, you just didn't know where it could come from.
Yeah.
The level of ability, the level of listen, I didn't coach. They said you got coach of the year. I won coach of the year in 2013, 14, 15, right? Maybe even 2012. That's when I was coaching. This year, I just kind of walked in the locker room. I mean, these cats were drawing stuff up, come off the sideline. I mean, it was like, it was a dream. It will be again next year. I'm telling you right now, because that same mentality is still there.
Yep. Yeah.
They might be a little bit younger in some places, but just the mentality, and it comes from them. But just that mentality of like how you approach your craft. And I always tell the college coaches, they come in, they said, man, something about winning a championship. I said, man, I knew we were going to win a championship the next day. He said, how you know? I said, because if the banquet was Sunday after the state title game, there were 25 kids working out on Monday.
Wow.
With these guys.
Yeah.
So the core of that team started working out 2 days, 3 days after the last state championship. Man, I had to pull them back. These guys were getting stress fractures in their back because they were working too hard.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to take kids out in the summer.
Yeah.
And sit them down and say, hey, you got to sit down for 3 weeks.
That's a fact.
That's a fact, right? I mean, this is one of the best teams. This is the best team I've ever been associated with, 30 years. That's guys I've sent to the NFL, guys here, there, the other. It's
we didn't even get into that. Yeah, we didn't even get into that.
It's beautiful, the level of respect, man. I want to say something before we even keep going, because I got 2 sons over there too, right? And I remember Coach was there, and you know, Coach, I wasn't there at 12, 13, 14, and they coached a certain way. And I remember, you know, my sons, I never gave my sons my name because they always their own beings.
That's exactly
their own self.
I said the same thing. I didn't want him to deal with that.
Yeah, so they're their own beings. So I remember coming over and I'm saying, like, look, you know, they come talk to me, go talk to Coach. I say, go holler at Coach, right? And so it's just
first it was tough.
Yeah. To Coach, like, man, look. And I was like, coaches, look, coaches coach, players play, and players run the team. We manage it, and that's where we are right now. And just for, you know, Coach to be able to not just adapt, because we all, and that's a lot of respect for a man, right? When you've been coaching and you've been doing something, but you're always trying to get better, and the game evolves, and to be able to absorb that, right? This is why we sitting right here right now. So that's a big ups to Coach in that manner.
And my best coaching job is keeping them two.
Man, listen,
that first year, man, listen. It's funny because that first year I'll be like, Malcom, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna change. Right? Man.
I'm in the box like, nah, Coach, I don't know what you see here.
I'm like, trust me, the troops are coming. So then the troops did come, and we losing, and like Wali, I was like, man, just trust me, we're gonna be good.
But that's what people forget too.
What?
Yeah,
we're getting our asses kicked.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, with those same kids that they talk about, they had to go through a lot.
Yeah.
We have developed.
They had to grow.
Yeah.
They had to get developed.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at it from, you know, that freshman year playing Benedictine, getting drugged. I mean, ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
You know, running all over us. Man, those are the same kids that dominated. The same exact kids. And they didn't come from just out of the sky. They were there.
They worked at it.
And
they
now, since you're winning, it's
they weren't here.
Yeah, they worked.
Where'd they come from? Man, they were getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, that's why they winning.
Now it makes sense.
We've been working.
Remember this conversation, Coach? Remember last year when I was doing the podcast on Zoom, and I remember I was downtown. You don't know where I was, but I was downtown, and I called you. I said, Coach, man, I want you to come on my podcast, and you said, you know what, man? I want to be on your podcast, but I'm trying to work to build this program up, man. And I'm getting it, but I promise you, I'm going to come on your podcast, but not right now because I'm grinding. I get these kids here and, you know, trying to get these college recruiters in here because when we was there, you was just getting a lot of kids to walk on. Right. There won't no college coming out there like talking about. And you, Will, Michael, and Jack, and Travion, and Blake and all those guys and stuff like that. And I was just like, man, this man doing this with getting these kids to walk on and they playing. They won't just like, oh, I'm going to walk on a team and then after 2 years you ain't seen them. These kids were playing. They worked their way up and they was playing. 4-year players. Look at his name. Zane made it to the NFL.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? We saw his work ethic. But who would have thought? Travion was talented. Jake Brown.
Yeah.
And I'm like.
3 national titles.
Exactly. And Tink.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up here like, well, dang. Now it's beautiful that you got, your son's got, multiple offers, and your son's got offers, and
75.
75 offers.
75 total.
75 total.
Plus total.
Yeah. But look, you named some names, you know, when we were talking about representation and all that matters, but, you know, there are also a lot of good families that believed in me early. right? That took a shot. You know, we're talking about Will Michael, right? That, you know, all those families that came in. You say the Bowens, like remember that was a time when we were just trying to get a program.
Right.
We were just trying to get, you know, people in the stands, right? And I remember, you know, Regina Bowen renting a whole bus out, right? And they said, well, you can't have a bus come to campus. And they said, well, we're going to meet at Stony Point then, right? And then a busload of fans like going to games.
Wow.
And just like, you know, we're going to get an inflatable blow up.
They were so mad.
Yeah. But I mean, all these things, like these people, like I get texts and calls from them now because they're like, you know, the dream came true. Because I'd be sitting around going, one day, you know, when we get really good, all this is gonna happen. You know?
And by the way, Karen Michael, we need to have a party at your house. Just let you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
Shout out to Karen Michael.
She was always one of my biggest supporters. But like those kids, the truth of it was, I sat all of those kids down. Most of them, I sat down and I said, "You can't quit. You can't quit, because if you quit, then no one will ever come back here."
Thank you.
Yeah. That part right there.
That part right. He said that when I was there, and I was like, I'm never thinking about any quitting. Nobody quitting. Like, who the hell quits? And so he said, you know, like, who the hell quit? So coach would say that. But one thing that like got brought out of me, being it's only we got 500 students there or something. Mm-hmm. A lot of the kids there, some of them never played football before, and so for all these men to be able to in high school. You got Division I player, FBS, FCS players, and then kids that never played. Mm-hmm. And then you get parents come almost in tears like, you helping my son.
Yeah.
Like, now this right here is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Different than anything, not just sports. And Coach talked about it, and I had to, I don't know, a couple players and their parents said, you helping my son. This right here was happening to him.
Never getting on the field.
Never touching the field.
Yeah.
I mean, just going through it. And I remember, you know, they call it scout team players in college and this, and you just smack them around. But now I see this other side. And to be able to help every single young man, like now this right here is a whole another level of energy.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
And that's a big point, man. I mean, top to bottom in this program, these kids get respect.
Yes.
Yeah.
They get
Yes.
respect. And these coaches, these men right here, give every kid in the program respect. Division III, no division, Division I,
Right.
Division II, doesn't matter. They give them respect. And I mean, I remember he had a young man come out and play quarterback. He had never played before. He just said, I'm going to be a quarterback, and ended up changing the kid's life. We got him in for a play or two,
right?
You know, in the game. Yeah, I mean,
Andrew Sullivan.
Yeah, Andrew Sullivan. Yeah, and
never played before.
No, never played before.
And they got their chest out like a rooster. Rooster, got that rooster, man.
You know, I mean, this year we had a kid spent 5 years in the program, TJ DiLoretto, right? And ended up a couple of games. I think he ran for almost 300 yards total. But you know, had gotten to the point where he had just gotten so tough,
relentless.
Yeah.
I mean, it just forced us. I was like, man, this kid, he deserves every single bit of what he's getting.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you see his teammates, you know, rooting for him and just, man, it's just a special thing, man, right now.
Like, I know Coach saying that, man, but just playing on a high level and to actually see these young men, when I'm looking at this kid, like, this kid ain't, like, he ain't, I mean, when I'm telling you, when you look and you feel they energy and they so, you know, I don't know what we, I mean, I always say, you know, I know it's a podcast, I always say, man, you're willing to die for it. And when I'm telling you, got kids that ain't gonna never play football again, and they willing to die for it, right, for you right now. That's something special.
That is special.
You feel me? That's something special.
That's very special.
No doubt.
Very special.
Yeah.
Man, I messed up, Coach. I should have let Malik play football.
Bro, I'm telling you.
He used to hound me all the
Listen,
time. Like, man, your son
you ever
could be
see
the
his
best
son?
corner.
Nah.
He's
Bro,
the best corner ever, and I was just like,
Best corner ever. Would have been one of the best. I mean, Zane Lewis, body.
Yeah.
Tremendous athlete, obviously on one of the greatest basketball teams in the area ever. And he was the three. He was the glue. I was calling him the glue.
Okay.
Right. He'd end games, you know, with 8 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. I mean, every
Doing
game.
the work, baby.
Was he
Doing
with
the work.
Zach Jacobs?
What's that?
on that team?
He was on
my
those
son,
teams.
can you tell them, these people, I'm tired of telling everybody one of the greatest teams that ever came out of here, Trinity Episcopal 2017. That team just, I get tired of saying that.
That team?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the best teams I've seen.
Let me go ahead and say, with Mondo was on the team.
Yeah.
That's one of the best teams I've ever seen.
That the 35 and 1.
Because
Forget
it was
the
just
sport.
like y'all coached that. It wasn't about them, like
team.
Like my son, like I talked to Wade and they said, man, we wouldn't have did it without Malik.
Yeah.
I didn't find out to none of this stuff
on,
afterwards because Malik don't talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. And they were just like, no, he just led and he did a lot of stuff that y'all don't, he never got credit for. He stayed in the back. He said, yeah, it was always Zach. It was always Mondo. It was always Wade. It was always Aaron Duhart. He said, but we don't win this without Malik.
Real.
And Malik never talked about that stuff. So I was just like, man, give me something to talk about. He just like, he just don't.
That's right.
So his friends called me in, like, no, I'm going to take you out to lunch, Mr. Merritt. Man, I love your son. I'm going to do anything for you because of you, because of what Malik did.
That's love right there.
But yeah, he would have been a travel corner.
That's love.
Oh,
Period.
okay.
Yeah.
He tried to get me to do it. I was like, man, I said,
I
love football.
Yeah.
It's coming.
But I was,
But we didn't have all this either. We didn't have this.
Then you had this.
We didn't have this.
Yeah.
We didn't have all this.
But I love this, man. I just love it that a school that I always put, I say I was there with you, man. And to see where it is
Day
grown.
one.
To see this where it is now today, I would have never thought this, man.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful thing,
But don't get it twisted on that 2017 team. We had one loss, which is contested because that was a bad call. The other thing is,
The
who was the
Bird
point
game.
guard? Everybody know who the point guard of that team was? It was supposed to be Aaron Duhart, who ended up.
Tink.
It was Tink Boyd.
Tink Boyd.
It was a cat who loved him to death, but he wouldn't have called himself a basketball player.
He drove the car.
He
never
drove the
wrecked
Maserati.
it. He never wrecked it.
So
He never
you
wrecked
think
it.
about that. The backup point guard was the starting guard all year. The kid who should have been the starting guard went on to play at West Point, won every leadership award, started day one at West Point. So now throw him back on that team. And we talking about, that team was
And
special.
those guys was in here last night. The LC Bird guys was in here last night.
Oh, yeah?
We
They got
talking
away
about
with
that.
one. That foul wasn't a foul.
And Mario said it last night.
Yeah,
He
they
said,
got
Mondo
away
didn't
with
foul me.
Yeah.
And I said, we know that. Like I said,
That referee need to get out of that gym.
He said he barely scraped my arm. He said, but I just went on here and took it.
We ain't going to give it back.
They was in here
right.
last night talk about that. So, but I said, yeah, we played 36 games that year. But hey,
Man, that's
can't win them
beautiful.
all.
Yeah,
but-
and they big ups to them because they were traveling. They went down to Florida. They kind of cracked that seal of where we can go. And starting to get just the national attention, right, that the basketball team was providing back then, and really, I never thought we'd get to the point of having 5,000 fans at our campus.
That was a beautiful thing. Oh,
Listen, one of the best stories ever is walking Z around. And Z was with a couple other guys, and we're going to remain nameless, all Metro players in the area, though. And they were touring Trinity with me. And we got out by the circle, by the pickup area.
Yep.
And the one kid said, hey, where are your lights, coach? I said, well, we don't have lights, but, we're kind of like the Ivy Leagues, we play on, I'm trying to finesse it. And then it's like, the other kid was like, hey, coach, where are the rest of the stands? And I'm trying to finesse it. I'm like, they kind of stand around, on the hillside, but, we get, how many fans you get? I don't know, like 1,000, 1,200 people. And he's like, that's it. And Z looked at him, at the two kids, and was like, yo, when we come here, we're going to be so good, they're going to have to build stands for us.
Sure.
That's how many people we're going to have. They're going to have to build stands.
Built them.
And they built them.
Man, you know how I felt
That's
last
powerful.
year on the Cornell Island and came over there?
Yeah.
Keon came over there.
Yeah.
And I know Keon, 92, 93.
Yeah.
He said, man, I know you. I said, I don't know you.
But everybody know you.
Yeah.
He was like, you play basketball. I said, okay, yeah. You used to come on Iron Bridge, you used to kill him. I was like, I guess. He was like, man, my son go here, number 5, Cornell Alley. Man, we doing something over here. Man, I was like, I was sitting here looking, I was the same way how you came at me the other day. And I was just like, I said, man, he said, man, I heard about your son going here. He was just like, man, I'm glad you did what you did, because look what we got now. And I'm looking at all these people, and I'm seeing all the people that went to Armstrong with me, Kennedy. I'm saying, 7 years ago, I'm saying this, telling y'all to come on here, they wouldn't come.
Be 20
Last
people.
year at that game,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing 4,000 or 5,000 people at the game. And I'm looking around, and I was just like, Jesus.
But it began with y'all.
That's right.
Because even when Malc got here, I said, remember what basketball was like.
Yep.
And I can just remember
packed.
that front row. Remember that first row, man? It was all the cats, man. I mean, it was a who's who of basketball in Virginia. It wasn't just the 804. It was a who's who.
Yeah.
And I mean, every college coach, every
you had
person.
Roy,
It
Kelvin
just
Keith,
was. Yeah. And we were coming off the heels of being good, winning, but I mean, nothing like this. Like this, it had gotten to the point. It was a traveling show. It was a traveling
rock
circus,
stars, man. It was really rock.
And that's kind of what we got to, right?
Yeah.
You know, but Mondo started. He had the embedded camera person or whatever.
Yeah, he started on that.
You know, so he had all that began right there. But all that, also the idea that you can be student athletes and play at that level began with them. Right? Because if Mondo and Malik and Zach and Wade had to come in and been anything other than what they were, then this wouldn't be here right now. Right? And I mean, they got love from everyone, everybody, the parents, the whole community. We were able to wrap their arms around them. Zach Jacobs was a kid that was as smart as they come.
Oh my God.
Right? You know, Jason Wade, very good student. Mondo just won a business award down at the business school at North Carolina.
This is a different level.
Malik working with the NFL, right? Producing stuff with the NFL. Like so that stuff, talk about power. In a PWI, they started to chip away and break the stereotypes of what those elite athletes can look like. And everybody wanted to say something about Mondo. But I'm gonna tell you something. Mondo was an 8th grader in my class. Couldn't walk 2 feet without tripping over his own feet.
Over himself.
And look, man, I sat in the stands with people telling me he will never be nothing. He's too this, he's too that, he's too fat, he's too lazy. You know the stuff they say. He don't work out. You know, and now everybody's like, yeah, Mondo, I know him. I know Mondo.
Yeah, and then finished being the 11th ranked basketball team in the country.
Exactly.
When we finished.
Exactly.
So I'm like, what you going to say now?
Exactly. Right. Number one.
I was rubbing it in there.
Yeah. but you know, but then the building's a whole nother animal.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be able to walk into that building every day, their heads held high because they were student athletes. Nobody could tell me that they were sitting in those same high-level classes as these other kids.
4-year and 5-year players. 4 and
5-year players.
They won't no reclass. The only one was Wade.
That's right.
That was the only one was Wade. Everybody else came into the door at the beginning and finished at the end.
But
got to make that point.
Wade was forced to come. Right,
because he didn't want to come.
Well, Wade didn't want to come. His parents had to move him because it was the election year, and they had gotten so bad. They were in Hanover, and a bunch of racist acts had gotten so bad in the school. His mom said, "I fear for his safety."
Yep.
And those guys had all played on the same travel team,
AAU team. Yep.
He was the nicest young man, and I'm gonna say this to you, and the same with football right now. People talk about that basketball team. Oh, you got guys from here, you got guys from there. Zach Jacobs, his brother was at Trinity, whatever. Came from Maggie Walker. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. And then I just told you about Wade. But the kids we turned away, bro, I walked Mac McClung.
Rajier Bolton.
Mac McClung. That Mac McClung was doggone Mondo's boy. He said, hey, well, this kid's gonna come.
Keldon came over there,
and I walked Mac McClung around. It was like 2 years later. I see this kid throwing balls off the backboard, jumping. Banging. I was like, I walked that kid around. Yeah. I mean, it was like first right of refusal, and nobody was calling anybody to give him.
Robbie Barry,
bruh, talk it. I mean, these kids. I mean, it's
pull it out. I'll pull it out.
Pull it out.
Taj Cole.
I walked around all Americans.
Yeah,
pros.
Yes,
that's right.
Yep, coming over there.
Yeah, and
they won't deny
for one reason or another.
What's that kid Marvin? Can't think of that kid. He was at Washington State.
That, or maybe they just didn't fit at the time, or whatever. Like, it's such a. It is
Tyrese Jenkins.
Yes, it's so intentional.
Pulling, baby.
Who was the cat from Stewart? Big.
He went to Washington State, Marvin.
Yeah.
And I sat in there when Mr. Short told me, he said, Rick said he didn't want him. I said, what? I was mad. I was like, we need him.
Classes, yeah.
And then that's when we got him, we would never got Wade.
Right. So, I mean, you know, for every kid that everybody says, you know, giving them, so number one, we don't have scholarships, but, you calling this one, calling that one. It's so intentional.
Yeah.
Who we bring in there, the culture of the building. Look, Turk talks it all the time. Like, I mean, I was with him. I was like, dang, man, you unloaded on this cat. Some brother was talking to him. I'm gonna give him the mic, but some brother was talking to him, was like, yeah, we're gonna try to do this, we're gonna try to do that. I mean, you want to tell him what you said to him? I mean, you kind of unloaded on him.
I remember, Coach.
Not anybody can just come over here, man. We building a standard. It's a standard that we adhere to. Yep. So I don't know what you. No. I wasn't trying to say that. I'm just trying to say no. We don't need that.
You know what? That's the misconception, though. Right now, anyway, man, a lot of people see what's going on now. Mm-hmm. You know, and they want to be a part of it, but you got to understand that it ain't for everyone. And every kid isn't a Trinity kid.
Right.
Every family is a Trinity family. So it gotta fit you. Mm-hmm. You gotta bring something to the table also. Mm-hmm. And then you also get out what you put in.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Man. It prepares you for college, man. I every time I get over there, I'm pretty amazed. Like, I just remember going to UVA, man, and not knowing how to write a paper.
Right.
A 5-page paper. I'm struggling. It might take me 2 weeks. And here my sons, man, they can just pop. Yep. So it prepares you for life, and so you can sustain in a college atmosphere and for life. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but we don't have football players. We just have men.
Yeah.
I always say to them, you got to get on campus and see these cats. I always tell Timone, I'm like, man, you got to see these cats in the wild, right? Mm-hmm. Like the other day, you know, our receiver, he gave his speech. They were standing up there to talk in front of the school, you know, the senior project. Mm-hmm. And so these guys are giving, you know, doing research, got to stand there, defend it, talk about it, this, that, the other. I'm like, I mean, these kids are men. They are young men that just happen to hit hard and happen to run fast and faster than you.
Man, I love we trying to hit you on defense. We trying to knock something loose. Let's get that right. Offense too. You know I'm speaking of defense.
Man,
About like, whoa. That's right.
Yo, but
different animal on the field.
But you guys, man, are just doing some amazing things over there. And just to say that, you know, I'm proud to have sent my son to a prestigious institution.
Yes, sir.
Like Trinity, because I couldn't. My parents couldn't afford it. It was just, you know, tough, man. You know, and I'm getting a little emotional about that. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff just coming back in my head.
It's all good.
It is
all good.
But met some good people over there, and still have those relationships. I don't mind getting emotional about that, but
because it's all love.
It's all love.
Mm-hmm. And I don't like people really saying stuff like that about this school because of the relationships that people, the doors they open for my kid.
That's right.
I can still come back there now. I can still call Karen and Miss G and you know, everybody over there. It provided my son graduating 4 years from college.
That's what's up.
That I never went to school.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I don't give a damn what they say.
Come on.
Trinity was good for me and mine.
That's right.
And I don't give a damn, and I'll never regret it. And if y'all don't like it, I can give two fucks about what the hell y'all think.
My man.
Because today, I got these champions here. They're building young men. They're building a program, and it's a culture change. Everybody talks about culture now, and I'm just glad that I was a part of doing what you guys doing now to make it the way it is.
Sir.
Because 10 years ago, it won't that. No. And I just remember
you were
him
laying bricks
right
10 years ago, though.
And I was just like, I don't know,
foundation.
Man. But people followed him, and I said, well, if Karen Michael said, no, we believe in Sam. I said, well, if you believe in him, I believe in him too. And we just rolled with it. It was Ms. Roberson, Gail, you know, all of y'all, man. Y'all made this stuff happen. And Coach McGill, you know, him another one. Hey, man, you can leave a $20 bill right there, stay right there for a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like.
That's right.
He was the first. I mean,
he's seen it.
I mean, literally, his son graduated the only male black student in his class.
Yep.
So that's how far we've come in that time.
Yep.
And again, I mean, I'm gonna kind of dap Trinity up in this case. He knows it's been intentional. Mm-hmm. Like, this couldn't have happened without some really influential people at Trinity wanting this to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dr. Acock too.
Yeah.
Because he always made, you know, me and mine feel well. what's the family? They got the gym name out, the weight room name out. The weight room. All of them, man, just made me feel the Hupp family. Thomas Hupp.
Yeah,
and all of them.
Mr. Hupp is still there. Yeah,
all them people, man.
Big
I don't care what they say, man. Looked out. So.
Big Joe Monaco.
Big Joe Monaco always.
Yep. Miss Sneeze. Shout out to the GOAT.
That's right. yeah.
Anna Perlman. Shout out to
them. 3 or 4.
Goat.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
energy is beautiful, man.
Yep.
I'm gonna say one last thing, man. My grandmother, I grew up in the bricks, man, in West Boulevard, and my grandma always talking about the strongest energy is the love energy. And I'm like, man, come on, what you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, but I get it. You look over at Trinity, man, you got 500, young people, and they all, people always say, it's a community. People always, everything you go to, people say it's a community, they be like, yeah, all right, come on.
Yeah. That's a buzzword.
But it's really, people always like it's community, but like it's really a community. You got 500 young people and the people that they know, they really, hold each other. Man. And that's a beautiful thing, man. That helped me open my heart, man, because it's like they really care about these young men.
They do, man.
And young people over there.
They just said, man, we want to win and we a family. And they meant every last
word. Yeah, no, that's real.
Like, man, I can still go there today.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Yeah, I mean, there's phone calls, like you said. There are calls we can make, man, that I would have never thought I'd be able to pick a phone up and call
me neither.
People. Just, give him,
It's good stuff.
Listen, there are times, where I've been at someone's house or something, and I said to my wife, I said, these are our friends. Like, we know these people. You know what I mean? And that's Trinity afforded that, but the best part is that, they want that.
Yeah.
They want that. They're ready for that. I think we talked about that early, Timone. I was like, man, you just got to get around these folks.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
You'll see it, man.
Those good people.
You see it.
You not just see it, man. You feel it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so that's the thing that most people, man. People like, man, this guy a good person, man. Don't tell me. Let me feel him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I walk around that campus, man, you can't lie. You know what I mean? You can feel it, and so it's real, and it's real for you. Like you said, your son is real for my sons and all the young men there.
Yeah, because nobody look that.
I think at any age, I think Trinity kind of changes your life. To be honest, it changes your perspective on a lot of things. And my mom's been following me throughout my football career, and she talks about what the Trinity community looks like and what the feel is at game day. It's almost. It's just a good feeling. So, I mean, that's a 60-year-old woman talking about, this experience kind of changed my life. Like, I don't know high school football without thinking about Trinity now.
Right.
And that's, again, in her 60s. So I think it's just leaving a everlasting impact on anybody that comes and sees it and experiences it.
Yeah. They
I'll add to it because for me, I'm the rookie far as the one coming into Trinity. This is my second year in Trinity. And I had to tell them, for me coming from the prior coaching circumstance that I came from, it was different to come to a culture of men, of coaches, of a program. Like the AD and the Perlman dope. Like Mr. Joe, everybody, they dope. I ain't had no issues with nobody.
Me neither.
I'm talking about they like, yo, what do you need? How can we help?
Yep.
Everything's up front, everything's on the table. And then getting to coaching and be able to be a coach.
Yeah,
like to coach what I do and not necessarily try to fill voids because we're lacking in other places or that we kind of scattered abroad. Yep. Like it's just different to have that holistic system there, and it's just you see us, but it's Coach Rosen, it's Coach Tompkins, it's Coach Grant, it's Coach Burt, you know what I mean? It's Coach Nuts, like it's all of us. What you say? You said Hall, Coach Hall, Coach Banworth, McCall, all of them. Like all of them matter in this circumstance, man, because everybody's coming there as who they are, being who they are, to present the service that they can give to this organization, not just the kids, but the men around them, you know what I mean? And anybody that they interact with. So it's different. It's definitely different. You get around something like that. It's a saying that I got from Dr. Eric Thomas. He said, don't go where you are celebrated, not where you tolerated. And like you go to Trinity, you go, I felt celebrated more than I felt tolerated. You know what I mean? So, and that's just in 2 years.
There's no ego, man. The ego destroys a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so
it does.
One thing they teach the young people there, which I'm still amazed at, man, like how to articulate, how you feel, this, that, and other. And so the grown people that do it, the coaches that do it. Yep. And so when you find a team that can gel together, because the staff can do the same thing, that it's mutual respect for all these men here and all the young men, all the men that other coaches that Coach Timone talked about, man. And it's a mutual respect. He can come to me, I can come to him, we can get together. And a lot of times you don't see that. Everybody like, no, I got it. And then you have this ego thing, and so you see it applies the same way to the young people. But it's an open door policy, man. Yeah. It's a great, beautiful feeling to have, man, to have men that don't have an ego that's going towards the same purpose intentionally.
Yep. And then because I told Fat Rat that Pretty Boy called Pretty Boy Dad. Yeah. We've known each other like for years. We grew up together. Well, he was a little boy. I grew up with his brother. Right. He used to date his sister, like elementary, middle school. And I told him, I said, man, take advantage of these opportunities that when you come over here, man.
Yeah, no question.
I said, because they only come around once. So while you here, get everything you can, because you never know, stuff change from year to year. But while you here, you guys, mingle, integrate with everybody and make sure your son get the best opportunity of this situation. I just trust me. Yeah. You won't regret it. Yeah. You won't regret it. So
good stuff.
No, man, I appreciate you, Larry. Thank you. I'm just like, no, him and Dan, I told them both. Just like I can't make it no simpler than that. I just can't. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, but I appreciate this because this conversation went like a lot different than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot more football talk, but this was like real men talk.
No question.
And we don't have enough of this.
No question.
A lot of times I don't script my podcast. It's just like, just go for it. Some people who I really want to talk to, I have my list like I did last night. I had like 2 pages of talk to Mario and Pinky. But this one, it's like, just let it flow. And some of the best things, you just let it flow. Yeah. And I'm just meeting most of you guys in here. And I'm blown away, man. Man, you blew me away today.
Appreciate you.
Malcom, man.
Yep, appreciate you.
Oh, my God,
yes,
man. Wali, I ain't even got to go there. Your energy just be like, hey, bro, you see him, I run through a wall for that dude.
Hey, look. Man. And it never turns off, though. It never turns off. You know it's
Turk,
solid.
Man, I can, like I said, look, every time I pick up, I call you, man, you be like, yo, what up, man? I be like, yo, we can go over there. I was like, all right, man. And it just made me feel like, I said, damn, man, this is a beautiful thing, man. I appreciate y'all even looking at my stuff, because I ain't thinking about it. We're going to be interested in what we doing. I'm just like, man, we're just something to do. And to watch it grow to where it is now, man, you guys helping me get to this point. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank you, man.
Well, just Richmond needs to be featured.
That's
it needs to be celebrated. Yeah. People need to know all the little small things about what's going on in the area, see what people the work that people put in. And so
that's right.
We appreciate the platform.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's
the biggest thing. You're giving us a platform.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate, because I tell all the guys, I say, hey, all you guys who come through here, I pay my $6, my $7, my $8 to watch you play or to watch you on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and do that, And this is my gift to y'all.
That's love.
This is my gift. Because we know if you go to the local channels, they're going to edit it, they're going to clip it.
Yeah.
They're going you said some real stuff, they're going to take you off and put some ignorant shit on there.
Right.
That's a fact.
But here, no, we don't edit anything. And I just thank y'all for even wanting to come on here. It makes me feel real good, feel like I'm doing something right. Hey, man, I don't know what else to say, man. Y'all want to shout out anybody before y'all roll out?
And we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I'm going to shout out Coach Mickens.
That's right.
I've said this a lot of times, but, you just don't find a lot of, just black guys, willing to bring and push younger black guys forward.
Man.
In his situation where, he's won championships. He's done really, really good things at Trinity. And, to come my first day and he say, go ahead and run the team. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that's big.
I mean, he's put me, and this is just personal, but he's put me in positions to grow that I don't think I've ever would have gotten to the point that I am right now if he didn't challenge me the way that he did. And so I just think for all of us, it's super special to have somebody just believe in a younger black guy and want to push him forward. And you just don't get that. And, you don't get that period. I haven't seen it. So
some hating
for the stuff he going through. I tell him every time, it couldn't have been me.
For real though.
No, that's real though. Me, look,
every day is something. Every day.
Hold on, Coach Mickens. Hold on.
But I wouldn't be able to get through it without y'all.
That's right.
But I knew you was gonna do that. I knew you was gonna hit that little deflect.
Deflect that,
pivoted on the deflect this joint. You gotta really recognize though, like what Malcolm said is so true.
Yeah.
Because you see us. I want to make sure I'm very clear when I say we're seeing. Somebody can recognize what you got. They can see your gifts, and they just see the gift. And they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna use that for however much we can use it for.
Right.
But you see us. So now you seeing this person, and you like, oh yo, you could do way more. You could be way more. But how can you do more and be way more if you're not in the circumstance to do it?
Yep.
So, you know what I mean? Malcolm coming in, young guy, quarterback coach, turned to be the OC, turn around, look at me, hey, you need to learn everything on defense. You about to be working with the co-defensive coordinator. Like, it's opportunities that somebody got to be able to see the ones that they work with,
No doubt.
for them to be seen and acknowledged that they can reach certain places too. You know what I mean? It shouldn't always be the case where you're just going through this rung, this levels like we was talking about earlier. Oh, I gotta be on this level first, and I gotta be on this level first, and I gotta do this. And sometimes it takes people 25 years to get to a certain place. But if you seen it, you like, you know what, he's a good one. And ain't no, I don't know. I'm gonna be reserved about it. It's like, nah, go get it. So, appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, and it boiled all the way back around, man. You know, coming back to self, right? When you true to self, man, and this the thing, man. Whoever, us, anybody else.
Yeah.
Your perception ain't reality. Ooh. You feel me?
You about to get real deep with your
Your perception ain't reality. I mean, I went to a banquet somewhere. I forget where I went to. He drugged me alone somewhere. Where was that? All Metro Jones. I mean, look, man. And I listen to some of the coaches. I'm like, look here, man. What? Nah, your perception ain't reality. So when you see, when you see him, you see me. So that's for the whole 804. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, I'm gonna turn it back around real quick, and
as he always do.
No.
Knew it was coming.
This is about to get real. I'm about to.
We gonna wrap up.
Here.
Yeah,
and we'll wrap up with this. But I'm gonna expose myself. They represent everything I was never allowed to be. Everything.
Shit.
I have 2 earrings in my ear, but I never walked into Trinity with it because the first day I knew I couldn't. I couldn't speak. Many a day my voice was muffled. Many a day when kids were called ghetto or this or that, I had to eat it. And not at Trinity, I'm saying in life, because it was just a different time. The 80s, the early 90s was a different time. And, I went about things a lot differently than before I met him. So I played games, I had to manipulate and get to where I wanted to be. So to them, they represent everything, almost, they're not my kids, they're like brothers, but there are times where I look at them almost like sons because they can be themselves. I respect that. I envy that in many ways, that they can be themselves at all times, and that, to me, I want them to go as far as they can go because I felt like there were times where maybe I couldn't go where I wanted to go. So the next generation, if not me, then who, right? The next generation, y'all go because you're coming through at a time where this thing is ripe for young black men.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to go get a haircut. You don't have to
be you.
You can just be you.
No doubt.
You don't have to put a tie. You're not judged immediately when you walk in by what you're wearing, how you speak, the vernacular you're using.
Be great.
Right? And that's so much of me into them or what I see in them. So
hey, me and Coach Milk about the same age.
I don't even look at I don't even look at age, man.
It's the energy though, baby. We here.
Yeah.
man.
Hey, TES.
Yeah.
We wrapping up another great episode of BallinVA. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and comment, please. That's how we keep the lights on in here. That's how we're able to get these great guests, and please share it, I'm just so humble right now. I don't even know what to really say. But I just want to say thank y'all. Tune in next time, and we are out.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate y'all watching the episode again today, y'all. You know, go over, make sure that y'all check out my man, rickstockel.com for any of your home buying needs. Appreciate it. Thanks again.